CRM marketing initiatives are strategic efforts undertaken by businesses to cultivate enduring and meaningful connections with their customers. In this promotion, he will be promoting the additional accessories whatever the customer needs along with the product. What do we mean by customer retention? So it is a fundamental business strategy that focuses on maintaining a positive and lasting relationship with the existing customers. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidyashram First Aid College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. I welcome you all to this session. In this session 1 of Unit 4, we will be having a discussion on CRM and marketing strategy. Now, let us see what do we mean by CRM and marketing strategy. CRM marketing initiatives are strategic efforts undertaken by businesses to cultivate enduring and meaningful connections with their customers. So, the marketing strategy means you are having a relationship, a meaningful relationship with the customers. The fundamental objective is to establish, nurture, and sustain robust relationships with customers over the long time. So, in order to have a very good relationship with the customers, it is essential for this CRM marketing strategy. By actively engaging with customers and understanding their needs and preferences and feedback, companies can tailor their products and services and interactions to create a personalized experience. These initiatives include, so there are certain initiatives which are taken up by the business people in order to have a meaningful relationship with the customers. So what are those initiatives? Now, in this, the first initiative is cross-selling and upselling. Now, what do we mean by cross-selling? It is a sales technique in which the seller encourages customers to purchase additional products or services related to the original purchase. So, in cross-selling, the seller will encourage the purchaser to buy additional products in relation to its original purchase. The idea is to offer customers complementary or related items to the original purchase or fulfill a related need. So, for example, when you go to buy a mobile, the shopkeeper will ask you to buy the mobile cover, charger, etc. So, all those accessories which are needed along with the original purchase. So, that is the additional items whatever you need in order to make use of that gadget. So, that is what we call as cross-selling. So, you are encouraging the purchaser to buy some additional related items. So, what are the key aspects of cross-selling? Now, the first one is understanding the customer's needs. So the seller is understanding what you need. Actually, for example, if you purchase a laptop, then he will ask you to purchase a laptop bag, and he'll also ask you to purchase the software whatever you need. So all these are essential in order to make use of the product. So in other words, the seller is trying to understand what you exactly need in order to make you the proper use of the product. So in that way, he is encouraging you to purchase these additional products. Then second one is relevance. So it is relevant. So if you have purchased a mobile, so it means that you will be purchasing a mobile cover for it. So in order to protect the mobile, so whatever as the relevant needs, he is understanding it and he is suggesting you to buy those. Then the timing. So when will he ask you to buy? So once the original purchase is over, once you have finalized on the choice of your product, then he will ask you to buy the related or the additional products. That is, once the purchase is made, then he will encourage you to buy the additional products. Then promotion. Now in this promotion, so he will be promoting the additional accessories whatever the customer needs along with the product. So customer communication. So in this, so he will be communicating to the customer whatever he actually needs, and in such a way that the customer understands it and he makes the purchase. So these are the key aspects of cross-selling. So in the long run, it will be the company which will be benefiting because of the increased revenue. So not only the company is earning revenue because of the original purchase, but even because of the additional other products also, the company's overall sales will increase. Then the next concept is upselling. What is upselling? It is a sales strategy where a seller persuades a customer to purchase a higher end, more expensive version of the product they are interested in, or to upgrades and additional features to their purchase. Now, in the cross-selling, the seller is encouraging the buyer to buy additional products related to the original purchase. Whereas in case of upselling, the seller is encouraging the buyer to buy a higher end version of the product he has asked for. Suppose he has asked for a base model, then the seller will ask him to buy a higher end version of that particular gadget. So the goal of upselling is to increase the overall transaction value by encouraging customers to spend more than they originally intended. So in this way, the business will benefit because the business will be getting more than the overall transaction value will be higher, because so whatever he had come to purchase, suppose it was a laptop. So the version what he had asked and the version what the seller is asking him to buy, that will be a higher end version, and overall value of the sale will be higher. So in this way, they will be encouraging the customers to spend more than what they had intended to spend. Now, what are the key aspects of upselling? So the product or service upgrades. So they will be asking you, the customer, to buy a higher end version of the product or service. So for greater usability and for greater accessibility, etc. Then second one is personalization. So they will be just asking, they'll be understanding exactly what the customer needs, and then they will just offer him whatever he wants. So the customer does not know exactly what is that product which he wants, and when he describes his needs, the seller is offering him a higher end version. So in this way, which will fulfill all his needs and expectations. Then value proposition. So the value will be higher, usually higher than the whatever the customer had asked for. Then timing will be, it will be usually the timing during the purchase itself. The seller will just slowly encourage the buyer to buy a higher end version of that particular product. So before he makes the choice itself, the seller will initiate him to the next version of the product, and he will try to describe all the extra features whatever has been added in the product, and in this way slowly he will lure the customer into buying that new version. Then next one is customer engagement. So in this customer engagement, then the seller will be engaging with the customer in such a way that he will know exactly, he will be just asking about how the product is working and whether it has met all the customer's expectations. So in this way, we can see that the customer will be fully satisfied with whatever he has purchased, and in the long run, the company also will be benefiting. And if the customer is fully satisfied, then he will refer this store to all his friends and relatives also. So in this way, these are all the benefits you can have by cross-selling and upselling. The next initiative, that is the customer retention. Now, what do we mean by customer retention? So it is a fundamental business strategy that focuses on maintaining a positive and lasting relationship with the existing customers. So whoever the existing customers are there, you try to have a lasting relationship with the customers. So it involves implementing various tactics and initiatives to ensure that customers continue to engage with the company's products or services, remain satisfied with their experiences, and develop a sense of loyalty over an extended period. So in this way, you are trying to see that the customer remains satisfied with the company's product and they have a sense of loyalty over an extended period. Now, what are the strategies for to retain the customers? In this, the first one is personalized customer service. So try to see that whatever products and services you are offering to the customer, they are as per the requirements of the customer, or they exceed the customer's expectations. So when you have this, so you can be assured of having customer retention. Then second one is meeting the customer's expectations. So meeting customer expectations means, so you are exceeding the customer expectation. The customer expects something about the product, and whatever he gets, it will be more than his expectation. So that at that time, the customer will be there. He will be a fully satisfied customer and he will remain your customer always. Then building trust for long-term relationships. So if you are always giving them quality products and services, then you can be assured that you are having a trust for a very long term. Then next one is marketing automation. So marketing automation means whenever you have a customer base, so you try to do all the marketing activities. So all the routine activities like sending emails or reminders or SMS, etc., it can be done through automation. Then pay attention to KPIs in customer service. Now, what do we mean by KPIs? Key performance indicators. Key performance indicators means, so you set up the indicators, so performance indicators at all levels, and try to see that whatever the performance KPIs, they are performing well. Then use feedback to know the customer. So whenever you have a customer base, you always try to have feedback from the customer. So what is his feedback? What is his opinion about the latest product or the service? Next, maintain a communication calendar. So in this communication calendar, you should try to see that you have all the dates on which you had an interaction with the customer. So you have a record of all the interactions with the customer, so that it will help you for further use. Then keep up to promise. So whatever the company has promised relating to the product or service, the company has kept up the promise. Then measure customer lifetime value. So what is this lifetime value? So it is the value of the customers, the value of the business the customer is giving to the business over his lifetime. Suppose he becomes a customer at 30 years. So for the next 30 years, he remains your customer. And during the next 30 years, what is the value of business he will be giving to the business? That is customer lifetime value. Then improve from customer complaints. So whenever customers complain about the product, so we should take care to see that such complaints do not recur, or such complaints are taken well care of, they are resolved immediately, and the necessary products are modified in such a way that it does not give rise to any complaints. Then retain customers with educational content. So whenever you are having customers, whenever there is a new product which is there for launching, so you try to attract the customer with the help of this new product. So you try to educate the customer with the help of this new product, and in this way you develop an interest of the in the customer relating to the product. Then next one is engage well with the customer. So even though the customer is not there for a very long time, you should always have a relationship, like sending wishes to the customer on his birthdays, on his wedding anniversaries, etc. So in this way you remain connected with the customers. Then convert leads into paying customers. So leads means they are those customers who are just potential customers but who have not yet purchased. So these leads can be converted into actual customers when you pay more attention to the leads. Then next one is build community. So build community means You try to create consumer forums and customer forums. So all the customers who are there of your business, you have a panel of the customers, you have create a forum of the customers so that they can share the experiences about the products in that forum, and as a result of which they will be just making use of the product, and they will be just involving others also, encouraging others also to buy the product. The next one is response to customer queries. So response to customers queries means you have to answer the customer's queries immediately. So whenever there is a query from the customer, try to see that it is answered immediately within a very short time. So all this will help in having customer retention. Then the third one is behavior prediction. So it involves leveraging data and analytics to anticipate and understand customer behavior, preferences, and needs. So behavior prediction means you are trying to just predict the behavior of the customer. You are understanding the customer behavior, preferences, and needs. By analyzing customer interactions, purchase history, and other relevant data, businesses can make informed predictions about how customers will likely behave in the future. Some of the techniques used for behavioral prediction in CRM. So when you analyze the customer data and interactions, purchase history, etc., you will be able to predict whether the customer will buy a product or not. So what are the various techniques used here? First one is propensity to buy analysis. So this propensity to buy analysis, what is this analysis about? So in this analysis, you will be studying about the customer behavior, whether he will be more likely to buy the product or not. So based on his past interactions with the company, so you will be able to predict whether the customer will buy a product or not. So that is propensity to buy analysis. Then the second one is next sequential purchase. So in this next sequential purchase, you will be having an analysis based on the purchase history of the customer. You will be having a prediction about whether what will be his next purchase. Suppose in the past he had purchased one model of the laptop, and after a few months or days, he had purchased a higher end version, then you will be able to predict now also. So for the next purchase, whatever he has made, you can just predict what will be his sequential purchase. Then the next one is product affinity analysis. So product affinity analysis means how close the customer is towards the product, how particular he is about the brand, how particular he is about the value, how particular he is about the quality, etc. of the product. So based on all this, we can have an analysis. You can have a behavior prediction of the customer. Then the next one is the price elasticity model. So what is this price elasticity modeling? So in this, the price of the product will not make a difference for the customer. So he will buy that particular brand irrespective of what price it has been offered to him. So the price, he is not a price sensitive customer, but he is more of a brand loyal customer. So he will be more loyal to the brand and he is indifferent to the price of the product. Then the next one is dynamic pricing. So in this dynamic pricing policy, you try to fix different prices for different areas. So if it is a metro city, then you can charge a higher price for the product. Whereas if it is a small city, you can charge a lower price. So based on the area of the market in which you are operating, you can fix the prices. You can have differential pricing system for the different geographical areas in which you are marketing the product. Then the fourth initiative is customer profitability analysis and value modeling. Now, what do we mean by customer profitability analysis? So it is a strategic analysis technique businesses use to understand the profitability of individual customers or customer segments. So it is there to understand the profitability of individual customers and customer segments. It involves analyzing the customer revenue and comparing it to costs associated with acquiring, serving, and retaining those customers. Now, what do we mean by profitability analysis? So you are trying to just balance between what is the revenue involved in getting a customer and what is the cost involved in acquiring the customer. So to acquire the customer, what is the cost you have spent? What is the expenditure? Serving and retaining. So to acquire, serve and retain the customer, what is the expenditure involved? So all this will be there in customer profitability analysis. By doing so, the businesses can identify which customers are most profitable and make data-driven decisions to optimize their customer base and maximize overall profitability. So when we have this profitability analysis, we will be able to understand identify which of the customers are most profitable, and we can try to see maximize their overall profitability. The objective of profitability analysis is to ensure that organization allocates appropriate attention and resources to its most profitable customers. So the benefits of CPA. So what is the idea behind having a profitability analysis? So when we are having a most profitable customer, the business or the firm can allocate all its resources and attention towards the most profitable customers. Then the next, what are the benefits of this customer profitability analysis? The first one is enhance cost management. So how do we enhance cost management? Try to see that whatever money you are spending in order to have the customer, try to see that it is well spent. So how do you see that? With proper cost allocation. So which customer are more profitable, you try to allocate more cost to only those customers, and then cost to serve analysis. So cost to serve analysis means what is the cost involved in order to serve the customer. So in this way, you can see that whatever funds you have, you will be making the best or the optimum use of the funds. Then devise new pricing strategies. So what are the new pricing strategies here? So price sensitivity analysis. Now you have to have an analysis of those customers who are very, very price sensitive. Price sensitive means even if there is a small rise in price, the customer will not buy the product. But if there is a small dip in the price, he'll buy more of the product. Then value-based pricing. So they are those customers who pay more attention to the value of the product they are buying than to the price. So such customers are value-based customers, and for them it is always essential to have value-based pricing. Then the next one is identify profitable customers. So the main objective of having customer profitability analysis is to identify the profitable customer. Now in this you have a segmentation. So you have to segment those customers who are very, very profitable to the organization and try to see that they have maximum marketing and strategies which are done. And then the next one is customer lifetime value. Then improve customer satisfaction. So how do we improve customer satisfaction? By personalization. So what is this personalization? Try to see that whatever products and services you are offering to the customer, you give them personalized products and services. Whenever you have any communication with the customer, you address them by their personal name, and in this way you can have personalized mails, personalized messages, etc. Then resource allocation. Try to see that you have proper resource allocation in order to have a satisfied customer. And lastly, the feedback utilization. So feedback utilization. So whenever there is a feedback from the customer, pay proper attention to whatever the customer has given. So what is the feedback he has given, and try to ensure that you make the proper utilization of the feedback given by the customer. Then The next aspect is customer value modeling. So what is this customer value modeling? So it is a strategic approach businesses use to quantify and maximize the long-term value of the customer. It involves analyzing customers to gain insights into customer behavior, preferences, and purchasing patterns. So customer value modeling means you try to analyze the customer, or you try to study the customer to gain insights into customer behavior. So what is his behavior, and what is his preferences, and what is his purchasing patterns? Now, we have the customer value model here. You can see the customer value model here. So the value is generated by refining and enhancing processes within a company similar to other aspects of the organization. So how do you have the value model? The value is generated by refining and enhancing processes within a company similar to other aspects of the organization. It is intricately linked to the culture and vision of the company. The CVM is also referred to as the value discipline model. So it outlines 3 distinct value disciplines companies can pursue to gain a competitive edge and achieve market leadership. So what are the 3 distinct value disciplines you have to have here? The model suggests that the company should excel in one primary discipline while maintaining a certain level of competency in the other 2. So the value discipline says that this is the model of the customer value modeling. So in this we have the customer intimacy. Customer intimacy. Then second one we have operational excellence. And third one we have product leadership. Product leadership. So in this value model, you try to make use of these 3 aspects, that is customer intimacy, operational excellence, and product leadership, and try to see that you arrive at a customer value model. So in this, let us understand the word customer intimacy. So it focuses on building strong customer relationships by understanding their specific needs and preferences. So the key feature of customer initiative approach includes personalized customer service, customization of products, and a deep understanding of customer segments. So we have to have personalized customer services, customization of products, that is, you try to tailor the products as per the customer needs, and a deep understanding of the customer segments. Businesses adopting customer intimacy aim to create long-lasting relationships, enhance customer loyalty, and provide exceptional customer experiences. So, if you are having customer intimacy, then you can be assured of long-lasting relationship with the customer. You can have customer loyalty and customer experiences. Then the second aspect is operational excellence. Now, what do we mean by operational excellence? It centers on delivering high quality products and services at the lowest possible cost. So, companies pursuing this focus on streamlining internal processes, optimizing efficiency, and reducing operational expenses. So you tries to reduce all the costs involved in manufacturing of the product and try to give value product to the customer. By eliminating waste and maximizing productivity, businesses can offer competitive pricing to customers while maintaining profitability. So you are maintaining profitability. Operational excellence is crucial for industries where cost leadership is a primary competitive advantage. It involves continuous process improvement, automation, and a focus on delivering reliable and consistent customer experiences. So it is a continuous process. It's not a one-time process. So you keep on trying to reduce the cost wherever it is possible. So in this way, you can focus on delivering reliable and consistent customer experiences. Then the third aspect of value modeling is product leadership. So product leadership emphasizes innovation and developing cutting edge products and services continuously. So continuously you try to improve or innovate on the existing product. Companies following the discipline invest heavily in research and development to create unique market leading offerings. So these businesses are at the forefront of technological advancements and are often pioneers in their industry. So product leadership companies focuses on creating innovative solutions that meet emerging customers' needs and preferences. So whatever the customers' needs and preferences, they just understand the needs and preference and come up with the product. They excel in product design, features and performance, attracting customers who seek latest and best in class offerings. So product leadership is for those companies who come up with answers to all the customers' problems. So they understand the problem well and come up with the solution to all these problems. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.